With the new X series of scratch-offs from the New York Lottery, you can multiply your winnings up to 100 times. The X series from the New York Lottery. It's a better way to multiply. You must be 18 years or older to purchase. Please play responsibly. Bills owner and president Kim Pegula is back with us on this week's episode of Bills Pod Squad. We are joined by running back Devin Singletary, who talks getting stronger and faster this offseason and why he's motivated to break out in year 3. Devin and Kim share the story of how they knew each other before he was drafted to the Bills. Kim also tells us about her summer plans and the decision to have training camp in Orchard Park. All that and more as we get started on Bills Pod Squad right now. Welcome into another episode of Bills Pod Squad presented by the New York Lottery. Maddy and Bills owner and president Kim Pegula here as your host. Kim,
I'm
so
back.
Good to have you back. I missed you. I think our fans missed you. We need your help closing out this off season before we head into training camp. So thanks for being on with us. And of course, we are also joined by someone that, Kim, you know pretty well. It's running back Devin Singletary. Devin, thanks for being on with us and taking the time. We know you're busy during mini camp, so appreciate you hopping on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look at those guns he's sporting.
I don't know. Mine are. What do you think, Devin?
I see him.
I know. Yeah, like that's impressive.
Definitely.
We'll get into that, Devin. I mean, you come back to OTAs and minicamp and it's like, whoa, Devin gained some muscle. Not saying that you didn't have any muscle because you're an NFL player and NFL players just have muscle to begin with. It's something you have to play the game. But you look like you really got stronger this offseason. What were you up to this offseason? What was the reasoning behind beefing up that bod a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Well, the main reason was felt like I missed out on a lot, as far as with COVID last year, as far as being in the weight room or, being able to prepare for the season. And, this year I wanted to take full advantage, That's what I did. I just got out there day in and day out. I was down at a place called Perform. And, there was a lot of great guys, a lot of great energy. And, I was able to get right down there.
I will say also, Devin, I spoke to somebody who said, because, I got concerned. I said, Devin looks awesome, but is the extra muscle, is that going to affect his kind of juke and jive kind of running style? And
right.
Best thing about you and the muscle that you put on is that it's increased your explosiveness, which is what what we want to hear. So it's not only that you put on pounds of muscle, but you did it in a way that's actually going to really help your game going forward. So excited to see that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was one of the the main focuses going into the off season, just trying to be more explosive and definitely get stronger going into year 3.
So Nick Hicks, who was your trainer, he was on One Bills Live this past week and kind of talked about some of the stuff that you worked on. And he said, you went to him and you said, I want to work on my speed, and said some of the things that you guys went into to work on that speed, to work on that strength. And after the interview, or as the interview is wrapping up, he said, motor has a motor now. So how were you able to work on that speed? Why did you want to get faster in the off season?
Yeah, for me, I just felt like, that's something I needed to add to my game that needed to be better. And yeah, man, working with Nick, it's been awesome. Like I said, we got a great group of guys down there, and Nick really knows his stuff. And we was just getting after it day in and day out. Some days was tough, but that's how you want
it. Did you notice, obviously your rookie and sophomore year, you focus on your speed and on your explosiveness, partly because that's the position you play, but also, did you really have a much better understanding then of what you need to sustain your play in the NFL versus college? Like, are those two areas where you're like, listen, if I want to have a long career in this league, I really need to step it up? And maybe you didn't realize that as a rookie coming in, how much more that is going to be asked of you physically in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, my first 2 years just getting a feel for it. It's some long seasons. First off, I want to say there's some long seasons. And as you know, it's a lot of big guys in this game, that we play. So all that went into play. And, just me working on my body, I know that's going to help me last longer, and perform better, later on in the season. That was, like I said, one of my main focuses going into offseason.
Have you ever been this strong in your career, or is this the strongest you've been?
This is definitely the strongest I've been, the biggest I've ever been. So I think I'm heading into the right direction going into year 3.
And you get into OTAs and minicamp with this new strength and being the biggest you've ever been. How have you been able to notice a difference already? I know you guys really aren't playing true football yet, but how have you seen a difference already in your play?
Yeah, I just feel more comfortable. In this minicamp, we picked it up a little bit. So, you might have to engage sometime with some of the, linebackers. I feel a lot better doing that. It don't seem as hard as it was my first 2 years. So, that shows that what I'm doing is paying off.
Have you were you bench pressing your son?
Yeah, he's pretty heavy now. He's getting big. So yeah, I definitely got to lift him up a lot. He always likes to be thrown in the air, and we're always playing outside. So that definitely was part of it.
Workout routine. That's great. I just watched you guys at practice today out there at the stadium. How does it feel to be back with, obviously the guys from last year, some new faces for you? What are you looking forward to, as we get into the season?
Yeah, it's been great. Like you said, getting to know the new guys has been great. We brought in a few new guys. I would say great guys, and just building that bond. Getting welcoming guys into the family, showing what we're all about here. And, it's been great for me, honestly. I think we're gonna be able to do something special going into the season of 2021.
You're getting to be an old vet now. This is year 3 for you. So, there's probably a different role that you have in year 3 in terms of you even just doing more mentoring or, the rookies and the new guys around you. That's probably just a little bit different than in your first 2 years.
No, definitely. Just talking to some of the rookies, even if, it don't matter what position they play, just showing them how we do things around here, whatever question they might have, I told them to ask me, I'm always here because, when I came in, I had people, take me under their wing. So that's what it's all about.
Would you say there's a different vibe about this group now that you guys are back together? I mean, you went to the AFC Championship game this past season. I know sights are set for making it to the playoffs, getting to that playoff caliber mindset that Sean McDermott talks about towards the end of the season, and then from there trying to win a game a week. But what is the mindset of this group having made it to the AFC Championship? I know you guys have a chip on your shoulder from that loss, but how is it having so many guys return to that roster from last year?
Yeah, that plays a major part, and we're coming back. We're going to be stronger together. Just building off of what we did last year, and I'm just honestly taking it day by day. But it's something special. You can feel it in the air around here. It's something special.
In the off season, were you training with any of your other teammates?
Yeah, so one of our new teammates, Breida, I've been training with him. I think Zach is going to be down there, and I got to train with Isaiah a few times as well, Isaiah McKenzie. But me and Breida spent most of the time together. Good dude, great character, definitely. He fits right in, honestly. But yeah, I've been able to train with him.
So where are you guys setting up camp as you head out of mini camp? I know it's been a short week for you guys, just a few practices, and then you kind of get to head out to wherever, take a little bit more time to relax, and training camp starts, end of July. So where are you guys going to be setting up camp in the next couple of weeks? Are you all in Florida?
Yeah, I think a good amount of us is going to be in Florida. Like I said, I know Breida's coming down. Pretty sure Moss going to be down there. Diggs is always down there. It's a whole bunch of guys. Florida's a hotbed for guys to come and work out. So we're definitely going to be down in South Florida, for these basically the next month or so.
Right. So do you really have an off season? I mean, you've been working out before, days, now at camp. So now you're talking about leaving camp and working out again. Do you get to really have an off season? Are you doing anything fun?
Well, for me, honestly, this year I didn't really take any trips. I might have took a couple days off here and there. Like when I get back, I'll probably take 3 or 4 days off, then get right back to it. That's just me, going into year 3. It's a big year, I feel like. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm just in grind mode. I'm locked in, and God willing, next year I'll be able to take some vacations. But right now I'm just locked in.
I was going to say, make sure you take a couple days off, Devin. You deserve it after seeing you at a mini camp and seeing what your body looks like now. I think you deserve a couple days off here or there. Take the sun out, do something fun with him. But speaking of Florida and so many guys being down in Florida, I mean, you went to American Heritage High School. You also have had a relationship with the Pegulas. Of course, before coming to Buffalo, you and Kelly Pegula went to high school together. Kim, Devin, tell me about this relationship that you guys had already been creating before Devin got drafted to come play for the Bills.
Devin probably didn't even know who we were. Like, he probably had no clue. And it was long distance. It was just me in the stands just watching. You know what? When Devin always stood out because he would be like the only person running down the field. Like, who is that guy, Kelly? Like, oh, that's Motor, right? Because like he would like all of a sudden, everyone's like going towards the ball, and then all of a sudden you just see this one person just running down the field by himself, scoring. So it's like you couldn't help but notice Devin. He always seemed to be able to find the end zone.
Yeah, high school days was fun. Me and Kelly, we definitely we knew each other. She was a year ahead of me, but American Heritage, it's not a big school. Yeah, and Matt was a year behind me. So like Matt played on my team actually, and
he was not a good player.
No, I mean, but
he was on the team. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and the workouts that we did at American Heritage, it was like college workouts, and he was there every day getting it in. So not many people would be able to do that. So Matt definitely, he's a dog for that. That's pretty much what it was. Heritage is, like I said, it's a small school, so everyone knew everyone. Everyone was cool with each other. That's.
I wondered, Devin. Obviously there's American Heritage in Delray, and there's one in Plantation. Mm-hmm. And Plantation, obviously, a lot of good players also came out of that one. Did you have a decision to go to one versus the other? Is there a reason you went to Delray versus Plantation?
Yeah, so originally, I'm from Deerfield Beach. So I always thought I was going to go to Deerfield Beach High School. But my mother, at the time, she worked at Delray Medical Center. And as you know, that's right there. So that's really how that came about. She knew about the school. She heard about the school. And she was like, I think, this is the school I want you to, to go to. We didn't have the funds, but of course, it's ways around that. You can work hours, or if you play an instrument or whatever, you'll be able to get a scholarship. So I went and took the visit. We fell in love with it, and that's how I ended up at American Heritage.
Nice. So getting to play with Matt, since he was a year younger than you, Kim, were there any times where Matt would come home from school and be like, yo, this Devin Singletary dude, you might want to keep an eye on him. He's really good.
I will say he does claim that he did tackle you once. That he said it was in practice. He did tackle Motor once in practice.
It's possible. It's possible that happened. It's very possible. In football, anything can happen. So it's very possible he did tackle me a few times.
Yeah, you know what? I think you had some highlight reels. And there was one time in that Kelly, our daughter Kelly, actually was, they're all on social media and stuff, and was showing our GM at the time, Doug Whaley, tape of you. So in college, so she was recruiting you for a long time, but But honestly, we leave that up to our GM and the scouting staff, and they saw the value and the potential that you had. So as much as we could add to, to what we knew you as a person and where you were from, but it was really your talent and what they saw in you and the potential they saw in you. They ultimately made the decision. So we were just happy that they saw the same things we did.
Definitely.
I hear your most memorable game is from high school. You ran more than 300 yards in a game and scored 4 touchdowns. Can you tell me about that game? Was Matt around for that game?
That year, I think he was. I can't remember exactly. That was my senior year. It was a playoff game. Yeah, it was a crazy game. I knew they was gonna come to me a lot, and we just had to make it happen. That day I remember it well. Like I said, it was first round playoffs, and it's win or go home. So I just left it all on the line, and that's how it turned out. I went for 304 touchdowns.
Wow, I'm sure that's the film, Kim, that Kelly was showing the GM at the time, saying, "Look at this kid. He just ran for over 300 yards and scored 4 touchdowns in a playoff game in high school, let alone."
Yeah, that's one to remember for sure.
Devin, do you have any? So as you know, going to take some time off a little bit, but looking into next season as well. Do you have any personal goals for you that you've kind of have set in your mind that you're doing all this work? I know you say you want to get better and all that, but do you have any specific goals for you personally for next year?
Yeah, my first year, like I said, my first year was decent. My second year, I felt like I call them growing pains. It helped me grow. So this year is just all about putting it all together, and ultimately just basically having my best year yet that I had in the NFL. That's my main goal, is just putting it all together and all the way around the board, just having my best year.
Do you feel at this point like you really can do that because you have such an understanding of the offense now, and you've been around your running backs coach for now, this is going to be your 3rd season, and Dayball for a 3rd season, as well as Sean McDermott? Do you feel like that familiarity of everything and everyone is really going to help you propel to that next level? And speaking of familiarity, the offensive line too, and your quarterback.
Right. Yeah, that definitely plays a big part, in football. Just like I said, building that bond, everybody just gelling together, and ultimately just understanding the offense. When you understand the offense, you can play so much faster. So I definitely feel like that's going to play a big part, going into year 3 for me.
One area that you need to work on is having fans back in the stands. Like you went all and kind of very quiet, and you had to create your own energy, and while it allowed you guys to focus as well, but now it's the opposite. Now you're going to have to learn how to deal with the crowd noise and getting the energy from your fan base. So I know our community is very excited that the restrictions now have really been lifted and we can be at 100% capacity. But yeah, that's going to be new for the team after we had last year.
No, exactly. Especially for some of the rookies last year that came in, they didn't get to feel that, and just everybody. It was a weird year. Like, you make a big play, you're not hearing a crowd roaring or nothing, and you're so used to that. Like, it's like your mom is not even out there able to scream for you. So that's gonna be big. I know.
I was screaming. You didn't hear me from up in the booth. I was screaming. Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard to hear you from the booth, but I'm pretty sure you was. But having Bills Mafia back, and the fans is going crazy, I feel like it's gonna bring a lot of energy, and I feel like they definitely gonna help us out a lot.
So Devin, I've got to ask you, Father's Day is right around the corner. I think it's this Sunday, if I'm correct about that one. You got any fun plans for Father's Day? Is your son, is he almost 2 now?
Yeah, he's gonna be 2 at the end of the year. At the end of the year, he's gonna be 2.
It went by so fast. That's crazy.
I know. And he's a handful. I love him though. But yeah, we're just gonna have dinner. I'm gonna have my father over, and we're gonna do a big dinner. And that's how we're gonna celebrate Father's Day.
Do you call your father like Motor One, or isn't it? That was his name as well, was it not?
Yeah. So his name was Motor as well.
And you're Motor Junior? Like, do you call your
dad?
So
so growing up I was Little Motor, but I mean, if I'm playing around, if I'm joking, I call him Motor or Big Motor, but I just call him Dad. That's about it.
So is your son Little Motor now? Has he taken that from you?
Yeah. They call him M3 because he's like Motor the Third. So a lot of my friends, they gave him the nickname M3. So yeah, he's definitely Motor the Third. He's been passed down.
Listen, there could be worse nicknames to have besides Motor. So
definitely.
What's been the
Yeah.
best part about being a dad, especially through this year? I mean, you probably got some more family time last year, and now that we've been in the off season, than you normally would in a regular year. So what's been the best part about being around him and getting to watch him grow up? Because a lot happens between the ages of 1 and 2.
Yeah, just seeing him go from not being able to lift his head up to being able to roll over to being able to crawl to now he's not even walking. He's running everywhere. He doesn't know what walk is. He runs everywhere. That's just been the best part, just seeing him grow. And now he says all type of words at one. Like he's like mama, dad. He calls my my mom Gigi. He calls my sister TT. He knows how to say stop. Like all that. So just seeing him just develop that's been the best part. It brings me so much joy. And it's definitely going by fast.
Yes.
Well, Devin, thank you so much for taking the time to be on with us, talking about what you've been up to this off season, what you're excited for this season as we kind of get back to more of a normal season, especially Bills Mafia being back in the stadium. And we're really excited to see what you're going to look like in year 3 as you put on a couple pounds and a lot more muscle. So I hope week 1 is like 2 weeks away. We got to wait a little bit more than that, but that's how excited I am.
It'll be here before we know it.
If you get bored, I'm right there, right by you. So give us a call.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Devin. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys for having me.
So great to have Devin on. He is such a pleasure to talk to. I really like the energy that he brings, and I feel like he's always smiling when you're around him.
He definitely is. He always has a smile on his face, and like I said, it's just great to physically see him. You see videos, online in social media of his workouts and and so you see it, but then when you're able to see it in person, it's you're like, he put in the work.
Yeah.
And that's great to see, especially going into year 3.
For sure. It was obvious to see with how he looks and the work that he put in the off season. Like you said, you could definitely tell as he walked on to the field for OTAs and minicamp. But Kim, we haven't gotten to talk to you since the draft. I think the last time you were on the podcast was with Greg Rousseau, and when we welcomed him to the Buffalo Bills, which was so great to get to know him a little bit better. Also excited to see how he does in his rookie season. But since we haven't talked to you in a little while, what have you been up to lately? I guess the draft was beginning of May. So what have you been up to May and the beginning of June?
I feel like Greg got taller, or maybe it's just because I haven't seen him in a while. He's just enormously taller, or maybe I got shorter. I don't know. What have I been doing? Just I like Devin. I've just been working. Obviously, we have another team over there in the hockey side, and so there, it's been really active there in terms of obviously finishing out the season, but then got the number 1 pick, and working scouting meetings, working towards that, and of course all the fun stuff like budget meetings and
So fun.
and planning, all that fun stuff. Yeah, so I couldn't get enough of. But yeah, no, just really been working. Listen, I've been in Florida most of the time. That's really where, because as you know, and as you saw, we are still here under some NFL protocols that are, despite the opening up of our state protocols, we still have some guidelines that we're adhering to. So it really wasn't a whole lot here I could do in Buffalo, and as Terry as well. And even now, like, I'm in Terry's office here because my office is not in the right tier. So I can't access my office without kicking a bunch of other people out, which I didn't want to do. So yes, like I said, but it's nice to be back, and the weather today was awesome for practice.
Yeah, it's good to see you back. And speaking about practice, I saw you on the sidelines for practice. What have your impressions of the team been? Just getting to hang out for mini camp, getting to see them on the field and practicing for a day.
That my first impression honestly was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're back here again. Meaning that, when we were going through COVID and going through the unusual season, especially the long run that we had in the playoffs, it felt like it would never end. COVID would never end. Our games would never end. And then you felt like, a letdown, like, oh, like another season, it's going to be a while. But now stepping into the stadium, watching practice, I was like, oh my gosh, we're starting a whole new season soon in a few weeks. It's just crazy how the time really does fly by. And I would not have thought that, at the beginning of COVID that, it would take us over 18 months to really get through it. And now I'm like, okay, what happened? We just went through 18 months like nothing. So that was my first impression. Just couldn't believe how quickly the time had gone by, and now we are back to having camp and then looking forward in a few weeks to training camp and really starting the whole process all over again. It was great to see all the guys there and some of the new faces, although I couldn't tell because they're all wearing helmets. So
Yeah.
sometimes I could get a little cheat sheet, but sometimes by the time I look up the number and the name, that person is gone, is long gone. I almost got run over a couple of times, but it was, there was a, how do you say it? I felt like a real smoothness, like I don't
Yeah.
know, Matt, you were there. It just seemed like a natural, there was like, everything just flowed really well from one practice to another, to, one group to another. Just a lot of smiling faces. I don't know what you thought of it. It just seemed effortless. I don't know if that's the
No,
right
that
word, but
yes, that is totally the right word. And Josh Allen spoke about this when he talked to the media this week. He was saying we're able to move at a lot faster pace in mini camps and mini camp and OTAs because we've returned so many people to this roster where we can kind of just pick up where we left off, where we're not having to take baby steps building up to what we're doing in mini camp. We can kind of just go. And so I think you were able to see that. And that's what you're talking about, the smoothness, the effortlessness about this group this past week. It looks like they're in maybe not mid-season form with their skill set on the field, but just the operation of practice, getting in and out of drills, things like that. It's not like, oh, this looks like a completely new team. They're starting to figure things out. It's going to take a while. It was like, oh, it's the same guys. And it was a good feeling to be able to see that and to see all those guys out there that we were so familiar with from this past season. You add a couple new faces to the roster who are definitely trying to figure things out, at least in mini camp. But yeah, definitely.
we got Star back too. So, we got someone back that we missed all last year. So I'm sure the guys were excited to have him back as well.
And it was my first mini camp in OTAs. It's going to be my third season with the Buffalo Bills, but it was my first mini camp because I came in after mini camp. I came in for training camp in my first season. Then last season, we didn't have OTAs or mini camp. So I felt like a new puppy going to OTAs. I was like, okay, can we stay for the whole practice? When do we have to leave? And one of our PR people was like, Maddy, you know this stuff. And I was like, no, this is my first OTA practice. I don't know.
I didn't realize that. Listen, I know it's only for a few short, days, but it's just a great way for, like, especially after the past year we've had for these guys to really connect, really lay eyes on our players. Listen, we know they're doing the work, in the off season. Not everyone was here for OTAs, but they kind of came and go, and they're, obviously from all over the country. So even if though it's a few days, it's really nice to just lay your eyes on them, get all the coaching staff to see them. Where are they progressing? Where are they at? And to just really connect and kind of, sync up, before we really have to then really focus on it. So I like it. I would, as a fan, I wish it was longer, because it gets you so excited. And then you're like, wait, it's over. It's like, wait, we didn't see them enough, but we'll see them in a short time anyways, in a few weeks.
And some other news that came out maybe a couple weeks ago now, but we haven't gotten to talk to you about it, is the fact that the Bills are having training camp in Buffalo for the second straight year. We heard from Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott about being in Buffalo for training camp. Brandon said, we sent a staff out to St. John Fisher. We did as much as we could to see if we could make it work, but with the way the protocols are currently set, we wouldn't be able to do everything we want to do at St. John Fisher. So that's the reasoning behind staying in Buffalo for the second straight year. I'm sure you're a little bit bummed that we're not going to be in Rochester for training camp, but also happy to know, hey, we've got the facilities here. We can have it here if we need to again.
I definitely am going to miss, Rochester. going back to my hometown and all the things that, when you go to camp every year, St. John Fisher, you have your routine where you like to go, where you like to have your pizza, the ice cream, all the special spots that bring you such great fond memories of training camp there. But like I said, we still are in this kind of amended protocol within the league and with the players, especially having access to the players. So we just felt that it really was the best. And listen, trying to move 100 guys, close to 100 guys at camp, and then all the staff and we still really weren't sure where we were going to be come the end of July versus now. And so we set a deadline, like, listen, if nothing changes and these are still the same rules by, I think it was June 4th, then we got to make the decision. So we did try to delay the decision, but we do have to plan, and we do have to, not just on the football side, but throughout the whole organization. So we just felt it was only fair that we make that decision based on the information that we had at the time. And so, but we did this last year, as you said. Before then, we had never had camp here at One Bills Drive. And I think having camp last year, although it was forced upon us, I think really gave us a little bit more of a comfort level this time around, saying, okay, we were able to do it. We had a great season as well. And we would love to go to St. John Fisher. I know Coach and I know Brandon, there's an element to going away for camp because the guys are here all year long. So going away to camp, that is, mentally and physically, great as a team bonding for the team. But as we outweighed, the positives and the negatives, and then the idea that, we know we can be successful as well here at One Bills Drive, that was the decision that we're at. So hoping to be back, back there at some point. But right now, just like I said, we got to look at the season ahead of us.
Yeah, most definitely. Looking at the season ahead of us, training camp is going to be a month away, just over a month away. So mini camp wraps up. Everybody heads to wherever they're going to finish out their summer. It sounds like Devin's going to head to Florida with a bunch of players. I know Josh Allen was talking about some of the guys might meet up in Florida or California. So it doesn't seem like they're going to really take advantage of this off-season life that maybe you and I will get to take advantage of in the next couple of weeks. I know they'll have a couple of days off, so good for them. But what about you? Any fun summer plans here? I know you're busy with the Sabres too, but are you going to be able to take any time off before we get into training camp mode?
Yeah, I'm taking time off next week. So, they're like being in Florida. I know Devin and a lot of the guys are down there. It's hot. It's hot down in Florida this time of the year. So in normal years, we've always, been where we travel a lot. Unfortunately, would have loved to go watch my daughter play tennis. Wimbledon is one of the nicer ones, but there's just still too many restrictions that it just doesn't make it enjoyable, right? So we're not going to do that, but I think we're going to go to up to our lake house to just do to relax a little bit. I've got a little bit of travel in there, some conferences that got put back on the schedule now that most people are vaccinated at least. But so other than that, I'm just going to be kind of working again, catching up on a lot of things. I am actually going to be, I'm trying to really focus. I have been for the last couple of weeks, but I'm hoping to do it for longer than that, really focusing on the health and wellness part of it. I talk about it all the time. I read about it. I love it. I'm not very committed in actually doing it over a long period of time with consistency. So just, kind of had a, had a checkup, and I was like, yeah, you know what? My body fat percentage is up a little bit. My blood pressure is up a little bit. Nothing like to worry about, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to, work on that a little bit over the next few months and get all those factors down a little bit to a better place. So that's what I'm going to do.
Kim, you look great, so I don't think you need to feel rushed to do any of that, because I saw you at practice today and I was like, wow, Kim looks great.
Well, it's not about now, it's about sustaining. As we talked to Devin about many things you want to do now so that it doesn't get out of control, and then it helps you in the long run. So I'm doing it with not a mind of how I look, but more about planning for the future and feeling it. And honestly, trying to get it into a habit. As you know, I love sugar, I love candy, I love cookies, and that's going to catch up to me, right? So just trying to focus on how to be able to still have those, but do other things to help mitigate so that I can keep eating cookies for a lot longer.
Oh, totally. Before we go, you brought up Jessie. Holy moly, she's been on fire lately. What has it been like to watch her career kind of just explode over the last year? I mean, she's winning these really great matches against some super, super tough opponents, some of the best players in the world. So how has it been to be the mom of a professional tennis player who's just kind of seen this surge and explosion this past year?
I think that's why my blood pressure's up a little bit. I'm sure. I'm sure. You know what? It's been nice because now that the hockey season's over and football season hasn't started yet, now it's like I'm not a big baseball fan. I don't watch it on TV, and nor basketball. So tennis is nice to be having something else to look forward to. Unfortunately, she's in Europe right now, so that means matches are like at 5:30 in the morning on the Eastern time. And so I have not watched a lot of her matches live. I can't even wake up at 5:30 to do that. So I've been watching it after the match, but certainly I was so proud of her, happy that she really has had a great year despite some of the challenges that the whole tennis community had over the past year. But and unfortunately I can't, like, they're also in kind of a protocol in terms of having access to just going out in the city. So I mean, I would have loved, I mean, she went to Spain, she went to
Wow.
France, she's in Germany now, she's going to the UK. I would have loved to have taken that tour, but not, I couldn't do that. So unfortunately, just having to watch it on replays because she's playing too early for me on replays. But really proud of the fact, and just like what Devin talked about earlier about putting in the work, that as you get older, sometimes you feel like what you need to do to get yourself to a level. So I think she's been able to really then build on the confidence of saying, listen, I am right here with some of the top players in the world. And now for her, it's about the consistency of staying at the top. Something that I think, our quarterback now, after the year that he has, really, how do the next level for him, really from a team aspect of it, is, I know he's got his own personal goals, but from a team aspect of it, is really always being consistent with that level of expectation that you put on yourself and others put on you. So I think those are going to be kind of the next challenges. As an athlete, there's always something you can get better at. I've learned that from her. So no matter, if you're number one or you're number 300, there's always something that you can always improve upon. So she just has a great mentality about that now, and a calmness, I would say, similarly, just the calmness, I think, that comes from confidence, that comes from the experience of being on the tour, and knowing that you're putting in the work that you need to do, and seeing the results. So I'm happy that she's seeing the results, because she's always worked hard. So we'll see what it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so fun to watch her, and it's been so cool to see the success that she's had this past year, and see kind of in line with the Bills' success. I love it. They're like a little tandem. But Kim, I think that like wraps us up. This is going to be our last episode before we take a little break. So this is kind of us capping off season 1, 35 episodes we have done. Can you believe it? From our first episode to when we were just figuring it out and we were in person, to then basically going virtual and being back in person a little bit now. And here we are, episode 35 through mini camp. And we're going to take a couple weeks off, come back for training camp, but it's been fun. We've had so many cool guests, and I'm excited for some even better guests, and maybe some repeat guests in this season.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of cheated on you a little bit. There were some episodes that I wasn't here for everyone, and so you very much deserve the break that we're going to be getting here in a few weeks. But yes, I'm happy to be back for next season. Looking forward to every season. As you know, that's what I love about sports. Every season is different. So there's going to be the highs and the lows, and and so looking forward to that. And we're going to be there. So enjoy your time off.
Yeah, we just want to thank everybody also for following us and tuning in for our first season of Bill's Pod Squad. It's kind of summer for us, so I want to say that to all of you too. We hope you enjoy your summer, and we're going to be back with more soon enough. Kim, thanks for being on this one with me.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Maddy.
All right, we'll talk to you all later. Thanks for following along with us.